what do you know? I mean, everyone's pretty tight-lipped on this, clearly.
Yeah, and in a situation like this, Rich, I've learned really the hard way over time to focus only on official comments from team, league, hospital, or family. Now, Jordan Rooney is kind of the unofficial family spokesperson, but there was some information given out by an uncle last night that ended up not being accurate. So I'll defer to the notion that there's progress. There's not a lot of detail being provided by Jordan Rooney beyond that, but there's progress. They seem to be encouraged. So we continue to watch and wait and hope. But in a situation like this, it just makes me nervous to rely on anything other than clearly official comments. Because, again, I've learned the hard way over time that those unofficial accounts can be not entirely accurate.
Another account, you can rely on and stuff like this, and I'm being serious when I say that, is agents who recount what their clients who are on the field or in these locker rooms are telling them. So what are you hearing about what the Bills are being told? You have anything on that front, Mike?
As it relates to Damar Hamlin's health, or as it relates to what's happening next?
How about that? Both. Let's go both, one at a time, if you got anything on that front.
I don't know, and I haven't heard, and if there is any information being shared with the players, they're keeping it all to themselves. Now, as it relates to where it goes from here,
yes,
it's all very murky for now. The Bills-Bengals game obviously won't resume this week. That was the league's official statement. Rich, I feel like with every passing minute, every passing hour, it just becomes harder to envision the Bills-Bengals game being played. First of all, when would it be played? Because the Bills play the Patriots this weekend, and the Ravens play the Bengals. The one idea that I know has been kicked around by people who are in a position to have these conversations and actually act on them, and it gets a little clunky, but it's pretty simple in concept. Week 18 happens as scheduled. First week of the playoffs, NFC wild card, 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5, plus Bills-Bengals. Then you've got the AFC playoff tree. Next week of the playoffs, AFC wild card only, 3 games. The following week, everyone plays the divisional round, then the conference championship, then the Super Bowl with no 2-week lag between conference championships and Super Bowl. That's an idea that I caught wind of last night that I didn't think of, which probably makes it a pretty good idea, but I know it's being discussed. I still can't imagine playing Bills-Bengals. But if they're determined to make Bills-Bengals happen, that's really the only way you could do it, short of doing something like playing Bills-Bengals this weekend and no other games, which makes no sense. I think it would make more sense to play all the Week 18 games and then shut everything down and play only Bills-Bengals the next weekend. Because you got teams out there that just want to get their seasons over with. They don't want to wait another week. The teams that are done, the teams that aren't making it to the playoffs, they just want to get the season finished. So I don't see the point in postponing Week 18 for Bills-Bengals. But there may be some creative way to do Bills-Bengals later. I just think they have to scrap it. That just seems like the only thing that feels right. And there's no right answer here. That's what I've been saying. It's going to be the best of some selection of bad outcomes that the league is just going to have to pick and go forward.
So let's take that one at a time here, Mike, because, again, it does not appear that the league, and it makes sense, and the Bills, if they want it, makes sense that they get some sort of knowledge about Damar Hamlin's long-term future, right? Like that, just some sort of knowledge that not only is he going to be okay, he's going to be more than okay, right? Like before they make these decisions. I just don't think, it sounds like this young man, it's going to take a while to find out anything that might cause any sort of solace, right? Immediately solace. So having this conversation now, I'm comfortable with it, and I know you were uncomfortable about having any conversation about anything outside of this in the NFL as of yesterday. So that's my long preamble to walk through this with you. So you're saying, because this is a fascinating idea, we finish Week 18, and then the first week of the playoffs, it's the NFC wild card round, and then Bills-Bengals becomes I guess, what would that be? That would be the third game of the weekend, right? It would be a triple header or something like fourth game of the weekend. Okay.
There'd be 4 games total that weekend.
Right, correct. Right. 4 games total that weekend. The AFC has off completely. So you give a bye week to the wild card teams there, and then the wild card teams will know that they've got to play the next week. So it's potential that the Bills and Bengals have to play each other to get another week off, unless, of course, the Chiefs win in advance, right, on this Saturday. So it would still be the 1 seed would still be wide open going into the NFC wild card playoff weekend. Then those teams get a week off. The wild card weekend teams from the NFL get a bye week while the AFC continues right there, right? And then then everybody plays their divisional games the following week, is what you're saying.
That's correct. And the 1 seed in the NFC will end up having
3 weeks off
between games.
Right, 3 weeks off.
Look, again, none of these are perfect. None of these solutions, short of finding a way to play Bills-Bengals before Week 18, and that's not going to happen. They've already told us that.
Right.
There's no perfect solution.
Correct.
So, but if they're determined to get Bills-Bengals played, it's either start the NFC playoffs with Bills-Bengals or just do Bills-Bengals in the week that would have been Super Wild Card weekend, and then do everything else the following week. All of the wild card games once you've locked in the AFC tree. And remember, the Bills-Bengals may be very relevant to the AFC North champion, because if the Ravens beat the Bengals this weekend and then the Bengals lose to the Bills, if that game's ever played, the Ravens are the AFC North champions and the Bengals are a wild card.
How about that, man? Wow. Okay, and so the NFL is just going to go through Week 18 before making this decision, or what are you hearing about their time frame on this decision?
I've heard nothing since yesterday. And again, when is the appropriate time? What is the right level of sensitivity? You mentioned a very salient point. Do we lock in Week 18 until we know what the long-term prognosis is for Damar Hamlin? Well, at what point can you cancel Week 18 or just cancel the Bills game for Week 18? Is it on the table to just say the Bills and the Bengals won't play this weekend, which means the Patriots and the Ravens don't play this weekend? Then what kind of a mess are you in as you try to figure out the playoff seeding and who's in or out? Because the Patriots need to play the Bills to determine whether or not they even get in, depending upon other outcomes this weekend. So it's all just a strange situation that the NFL's never dealt with before. And I remember in 9/11, in the aftermath of that, they took Week 2. They made that basically Week 18 and pushed everything back. But they had the luxury of, the end of the season wasn't staring them in the face.
Right.
This unprecedented thing is occurring as the end of the season is here. And again, it gets harder and harder, I think, to change the status quo with each passing day, with each passing hour, and with each passing minute.